So only keep 10 fragrances and throw away the rest?
Okay.
Alright, hey guys, welcome to the video. If you're new here, my name's Curtis. So today I thought I would do keep 10 fragrances for life video. So keep 10 and throw away the rest. But I wanted to kind of go down a different path, and I wanted to give myself some limitations here. So I've set a couple rules for myself. So basically I need to pick 2 fragrances per season. And then the other 2 fragrances, they had to be versatile, any season, any occasion fragrances. So that makes a total of 10. The other limitation is I could only pick 1 fragrance per brand. So yeah, this was quite challenging, and it took me a while to kind of go through my fragrances and see which ones that I wanted to choose. But yeah, these are the 10 fragrances that I would choose to keep if I had to toss everything right now. So if you're curious to see the fragrances that I've chosen, then let's go. So since we're in the summer, we're gonna kick things off with the 2 summer fragrances that I've chosen. So first up, from the house of Xerjoff, we have Neo. So yeah, this one is so good. My image of this is basically you're outside, maybe surrounded by mountains, there's a waterfall, the sun's kind of beating down on you, and you're just kind of rinsing off, and you're basically lathering yourself up with fresh spring Irish soap, and that's what you get here. This one is so refreshing and just very clean smelling, and this is a neroli bomb. So I mean, if you don't like neroli, I love it. You might want to stay away from this fragrance, but yeah, the neroli in here is done so well. I absolutely love it. This just smells so fresh and clean and extremely refreshing, especially in those summer months. So yeah, if you can, get yourself a sample of Neo by Xerjoff. So the second fragrance that I've chosen for summer is Vetiver Sensual by Mancera. Man, this is such a good one. And it's an easy one to start with if your nose isn't quite accustomed to the note of vetiver. This type of vetiver has a slight earthiness to it, but for the most part, this fragrance comes off just fresh and soapy clean. It's such an easy wear, and like most Manceras, this one has phenomenal performance, nice projection and longevity, especially during those summer months. This one performs so well, it will last the entire day. It's a great one, and definitely one of my favorites from the house. But like I said before, if your nose isn't accustomed to the note of vetiver, start with a fragrance like this. And then, you know, once you start becoming more and more used to it, you can progress to more intense styles of vetiver. But yeah, this is a great one from beginning to end, and I love it, and it's perfect for the summer season. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Vetiver Sensual by Mancera. All right, so we're finished with summer, we're moving into fall. So this is the first fragrance that I've chosen for the fall. From the house of Penhaligon's, we have Sartorial. So if you guys have been following this channel for any amount of time, you know I'm a huge fan of fougères. So of course, I had to put a 10 out of 10 fragrance Sartorial on the list. This is the best fougère in my collection. This smells just very classic, masculine. You get a heavy blast of lavender here. Also, you get a very unique honey note, which kind of provides a bit of sweetness. And also there's a slight metallic note in here, which kind of gives off the vibe of like freshly pressed iron shirts. And that's what Penhaligon's was trying to kind of replicate when they created this fragrance. They were trying to make you feel like you were in a old school tailor shop. And I feel like they've accomplished that perfectly here. This does sometimes get compared to that old school fragrance called Brut. Maybe your dad wore it when you were a kid. You may or may not be familiar with it. But yeah, this one has kind of nostalgic memories for me. And yeah, this is a great one. I love wearing this, especially in the fall. It fits perfectly. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Sartorial by Penhaligon's. So my second choice for fall, from the house of Nishane, we have Sultan Vetiver. So you guys know that I absolutely love the note of vetiver. It's probably one of my favorite fragrance notes in perfumery. And yet, this is vetiver for a king. Your nose must be accustomed to the note of vetiver because this is a complete slap in the face. This will hit you hard. And if your nose isn't accustomed to it, you might go running. But I absolutely love this. This is vetiver for a king, hence the name Sultan. And I love this one from beginning to end. This has 4 different kinds of vetiver in it, so it takes you on a journey through the different facets of vetiver, and that's one thing that I absolutely love about this fragrance. But I would say be careful with this one. Less is more. Go easy on the trigger because this is a beast. As with most Nishanes, yeah, it's no joke. So for me, when I wear this, I only do 1 or 2 sprays because this one pushes out heavily, and the longevity on this is eternal. It lasts all day long. But it's a great one from beginning to end. I absolutely love it. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Sultan Vetiver by Nishane. All right, so now we're moving into the winter. And I just realized that both of the fragrances that I've chosen for winter were both perfumed by Julian Rascone. He's one of my favorite perfumers, so yeah. So first up, from the house of Masque Milano, we have Russian Tea. So this one is such a cozy and perfect scent for those winter days. This has such a realistic smell of black tea. You also get some leather and some raspberry in here, which helps to give this fragrance, the raspberry helps to give this fragrance a bit of sweetness. So it's kind of like raspberry black tea. You also have a bit of mint in here. And so yeah, this fragrance is so relaxing and cozy. I love to wear this fragrance in the winter when I'm going to like a cafe, you know, whether I'm gonna go there just to relax or to study a little bit. Love this one. It works perfectly for that. But like I said, this is some powerful stuff. Less is more. I do 2 sprays with this max because this one pushes out quite heavily on my skin. But I absolutely love it from beginning to end. This one's a great one. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Russian Tea by Masque Milano. And my second fragrance that I chose for winter, from the house of BDK, we have Tabac Rose. Man, so this one is such a sexy rose fragrance, but what makes this one unique is you basically start off with a heavy blast of rose, and as you progress through this fragrance, you get a very, very sexy chocolate note that starts to push forward, and it almost kind of makes this fragrance veer off into gourmand territory. I don't think it fully veers off in that direction, but it definitely kind of starts to walk down that road. But I love this one. This one is so unique and just sexy. So if you're going on a date night in the wintertime, choose this one. It works a treat. I absolutely love it. And the performance on this is really, really good. When I wear this in the wintertime, I usually do about 3 or 4 sprays and it lasts me the entire evening. But yeah, I love this one from beginning to end. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Tabac Rose by BDK. All right, so now we're moving into spring. And the first fragrance that I've chosen for spring is from the house of Amouage. We have Beach Hut Man. Man, this is such a good one and such a unique one in my collection. I really, really love this. So basically, you get a heavy blast of ivy in here, which is very unique. And I don't have any other fragrances in my collection that feature the note of ivy. So it really helps to set this one apart. And you also get a heavy blast of mint in here. But basically this one is very green. And given the name Beach Hut Man, you might think that this one is, you know, maybe kind of like an aquatic. It couldn't be further from that. It is definitely not an aquatic fragrance. This should probably be called Jungle Hut Man because it kind of gives me images of like walking through the jungle, or if you're walking through the jungle and you come up on a kind of like wooden hut and you're inside and the sun's kind of beating down and the smell of that heat is kind of, pushing off from the roughage and the wood that's in that hut and the smells that you're getting from that. That's kind of the image that I get from this one. But this is also a beast on performance, so you only need 2 sprays or so and this will last you the entire day, and it's a room filler. It projects heavily.
So be nice to yourself and to the others around you.
So if you can, get yourself a sample of Beach Hut Man by Amouage. So next up, for my second choice for spring, I went with Rose de Taif Extrait by Paris Monte Carlo. Man, so I absolutely love wearing rose fragrances in the springtime. I think they fit perfectly. And this one is such a sexy rose, and it's my favorite rose fragrance in my collection that primarily focuses on rose. So basically my image of this one is if I'm laying in a bathtub full of Taif rose petals, and then slice open a lemon, squeeze that lemon juice all in that bathtub, and that's basically what you get here. This one is such a sexy rose, and this one comes alive in the heat. So, in the spring, those temperatures start to warm up, and man, this one pushes out and just smells so sexy in the air. I absolutely love it. This house in general is just very underrated, and this fragrance is underrated. You never hear anybody talking about this one, but yeah, this one's a sexy one from beginning to end. I love it. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Rose de Taif Extrait by Paris Monte Carlo. All right, so that wraps up the summer, fall, winter, and spring. So now we're moving into my two versatile any season, any occasion fragrances. So first up, from the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian, we have Gentle Fluidity Silver. Man, so I've talked about this one so many times on the channel because it's really that good. This is such a versatile fragrance that performs extremely well. You get a heavy blast of juniper berry in here, which kind of gives this fragrance a gin and tonic like vibe. And then you also have some very subtle amber and vanilla notes in here that start to push forward in the dry down, all while this fragrance remains extremely fresh and clean and just very, very easy to wear. I love this one, but this one performs so good. So if you're gonna be in an office setting, be very careful. 2 sprays, maybe 3 sprays, and you're good. This one pushes out, it will fill a room, so be careful. But yeah, I love this one. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Gentle Fluidity Silver by Maison Francis Kurkdjian. All right, my second pick for any season, any occasion fragrance, very versatile, is coming from the house of Ormond Jane. We have Mont Tobacco Verano. Man, this one is so good, and it kind of like Gentle Fluidity Silver, it's a heavy performer, but basically you get a heavy blast of citruses in the top here, and that pushes through the entire life of this fragrance. It might be grapefruit or lemon, I'm not entirely sure, but it's a heavy blast of citruses. You also have a very unique note of tobacco in here, but it's a summertime tobacco that works perfectly. It's nothing that's too heavy or dark. This fragrance remains citrusy bright from beginning to end, but that tobacco just kind of gives it a bit more depth and character, and that's why you can wear this fragrance any season, any occasion. It helps to give it a bit more depth, so it doesn't just make it like a summery fragrance. And that's one thing I really love about this. Now, this is the only fragrance that I have from Ormond Jane, but I'm intrigued and I definitely want to check more from the brand. But yeah, I love this one from beginning to end. It's a stunner. So if you can, get yourself a sample of Mont Tobacco Verano by Ormond Jane. All right, guys, so that's all I have for you for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's content, and let me know down in the comments section, what are your 10 for life fragrances that you would absolutely keep? I'd love to hear about them. Well, I hope you guys are staying healthy and well, and I'll see you in the next video.